Hi everybody, welcome to episode 32 of the Teesside Business Podcast. Today we are joined by Joanna from Champ Productions.
Hello, nice to be here.
Thanks very much for coming down.
No, I'm very happy to. I'm always happy to come and have a chat about what we're doing.
Yeah, so if you want to start off by giving us a brief overview of like your career history and what led you to start up Champ.
So I started as a performer. So my training was in musical theatre, and I went down to that London and did all the work down there that I could get my hands on. I came back to this area, to the northeast, just over 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And when I got back, I couldn't find a lot of work to do. Yeah. So I thought, well, let's create some work. Yeah. I can't be the only performer in the area that wants to work. Yeah. So Charm Productions was born. So at that time, I already had a vintage trio called the Lipsticks Rock and Roll Review, mm-hmm. and we'd been working in Kent for about 4 years. Okay. So I brought them under my Charm Productions umbrella, mm-hmm. and now I've got a team of girls up here as well, yep. as my girls in Kent. Mm-hmm. And then we started doing murder mysteries, because when I looked around, I couldn't find that many murder mystery companies in the area. Yeah. And I'd acted in murder mysteries down mm-hmm. south, and I loved it. It was some of the best fun I had, yeah. and some of the most enjoyable work as an actor I ever did. Yeah. And I thought, let's do some of that. And writing has always been a massive passion of mine. Mm-hmm. So writing scripts yeah. was great fun, and I love it. Yeah. It's still one of my top 3 elements of the job that I absolutely love and adore, yeah. is writing the murder mystery scripts, yeah. and putting the shows together.
I imagine it's quite a rewarding thing if you put it all together, and then if you're acting it, kind of seeing people like go through the process of figuring it out or not figuring out. You kind of see it like coming alive, like your script coming alive in front of you. I
love it. I love it. That's one of the best things is when I email the script off to the actors, and then we go into the rehearsal room, mm-hmm. and we'll run it twice when we're in the rehearsal room. So the first time they will just run with it, mm-hmm. and I'll stop and start, and we'll throw some ideas around. But I always like to see what they're doing first. Yeah. And I've had some revelations in the rehearsal room. I had one of my actors came in with a character. I hadn't written the character with any kind of accent in mind. In my head, she was English and probably maybe a little bit of a country bumpkin. Mm-hmm. And my actor, Alex, she came in and she had this absolutely spot on Eastern European, almost Romany accent. And I was like, that works so much better than anything I could have thought of. Yeah. So now everyone that plays that role does it with an Eastern European accent, because one of my actors came in with this fully formed character, and I went, that's amazing. So I love that. And what's even better is on the night with the audience, watching them work it out and working out the twists and turns. So I walk around the room the yeah. whole night. Yeah. So I play Isabel Mumford, the detective. Yeah. So I run the event yeah. rather than acting in it, I suppose. Mm-hmm. But I walk around all the tables and I go, so what questions have you come up with? Yeah. And who do you suspect? And listening to their theories, listening to their answers and the questions they're coming up with. It's really insightful at times, and it's really funny at times. Yeah. Because we get some people who come up with these massive conspiracy theories that I say to them, you've written a new script. Yeah. You've come up with an idea that's so far.
Yeah, at some point they've took it off the freeway and gone on their own.
Completely, and what they've come up with is marvellous. Yeah, and yeah. I sort of go, I wish I'd thought of that. That's really good.
They write you the scripts for the next one for you. Yeah. It's like having a production team.
It's brilliant. So I really enjoy that, and then seeing how many tables and how many teams get it right afterwards is great.
So how long does it take for you to put one together, from initial idea, a script, going through it? Like, I imagine it's quite a lengthy process, especially to get the framework and the actual murder mystery bit.
The structure I have had in place for a while. So that's quite helpful that I came up with the structure quite soon, that it was going to be, it's a scene before the starter, a scene before the main course, a scene before the dessert, and the reveal after the dessert.
Okay.
So I knew that was my structure. So I therefore knew that scene 1 has to be setting up the action.
Yeah.
Scene 2 has to be all the drama. And scene 3 has to be the massive climax.
Yeah.
So that scene 4 is a nice reveal. So because I had that in place, now my job is to flesh it out, if you like.
Yeah.
So my skeleton was born quite early.
Yeah.
And now I just add the meat to it.
Yeah.
I'd probably say on average a script takes me, if I have nothing else on, a script will take me about 10 days to write. But I tend to do it over a 3-week period.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll write the first draft and I send it off to my unofficial script editors
Yeah.
who give me lots of notes and send it back, and then I'll rewrite it again and then send it off again. And then we'll do a rehearsal with the cast, and if I have to make any tweaks, then I will. So all in all, I'm going to complete a first draft the end of this week, and the second draft will be sent to the cast by the middle of next week.
Okay.
So that's how we do. But I start with a great big whiteboard, and I write the victim's name in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I write the list of suspects,
Yeah.
and then I give them all a motive,
Yeah.
and I decide what the means was, and then I link it all together, and then I map out the scenes and
Yeah.
what conversations need to happen in each scene.
Yeah.
So it's quite
Yeah, it's an
lengthy.
in-depth
It's in
process.
depth, yeah. But the thing we do that sets us apart, I suppose, is we do the scenes and we get interrogated.
Yeah.
So in between the courses, the actors are moving around the tables.
Yeah.
They're being asked all manner of questions by the audience.
Yeah.
And we have a joke in rehearsal that we'll sit here for an hour and we'll come up with every possible question that an audience member could possibly ask us.
Yeah.
And they will still ask us something else
Yeah.
that catches the actors off guard.
Yeah.
So everybody's just got to be really aware of their character.
Yeah.
You have to know the story. You have to know the character. You have to be able to improvise on the spot. And I'm very lucky. I've got about, in total in this area, I've got about 30 actors
Oh, fantastic.
that all work freelance, all work for me. And I'm absolutely positive and sure in saying I've got some of the best talent in the
Yeah.
Northeast, if not the country, working for me.
It's imagine it's like, as an actor, it's really tricky because not only are you learning a character and a script, you've also got to kind of method act it where it has live feedback and interaction, where you can't really have another take at that when people are asking you questions and things like that. So
No, you only get one go at answering a question
yeah,
to a table.
yeah,
We have had a couple of instances where people have we've all met up in our dressing room in between courses, and somebody's gone, "Oh, I think I got my answer wrong." And then we have to find a way to correct it.
Yeah.
Which is quite easy, because all of the characters lie. They're all double crossing each other.
Yeah.
There's always lots of subterfuge anyway.
Yeah.
So if you get something wrong, never mind. We'll figure it out.
You can kind of rewrite the script as you go in, I suppose, like in the next act.
As long as we all know what we're doing, yeah. As long as we're following the same story. The story has to stay the same, obviously, because we have to end up with the same murderer every time. But we can play with it. That's the beauty of improvisation, is if we need to improvise around a scene, we will. But we work together to do that in rehearsal to make sure we can save each other if we need to, and we can help each other out if we need to.
Yeah.
And only once did I have a situation where no one, or what was it? I think one table got the murderer, but they didn't quite get the other details.
Yeah.
And we sat down as a team afterwards and went, okay, you know.
Yeah.
And it was fine because they all had a great night and we got a winner, so that was wonderful. But we sat down and went, okay, so let's correct that for the next time.
Have you ever had an evening where no one figures it out?
No. Which is good. It makes me think I'm doing it properly.
Yeah.
Because
You're not making it so unbelievably hard that people can't get it and enjoy themselves as they do it.
That's it. I go with the rule: if no one gets it right, we did a bad job.
Yeah.
If everyone gets it right, we did a bad job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's how we know it was too hard or too easy. I'd say the most successful nights are the ones where we get 2 or 3 tables that get it right.
Yeah.
So what we do in that instance is we work on a point system.
Mm-hmm.
So we would say, okay, who got the murderer right? Did they get the motive right? Did they get the method right?
Yeah.
And then, because there's only so many bottles of Prosecco that we've got to give away.
Exactly, yeah.
So
You've got to have some way to find a winner.
got to have some way to find a winner. And so far, I've never managed to go home with the Prosecco myself.
Oh, well, never mind.
So,
there's a silver lining if no one thinks that, I suppose.
Yeah, so far it's never happened.
We got invited. It's not a similar kind of event really, but the guys at the Teesside escape rooms invited us to come down, and that's like, I don't know if it's changed, but it was like a Sherlock Holmes type murder mystery when you get locked in the room, and they helped us along, and we got out I think with just a couple of minutes to spare, but we were thinking we're going to be the only people who don't figure this out, but it went well. So when you're doing it, how many like dinners or evenings do you do with the same script? Is it just one and then you move on to write another one, or can you get like a couple out of the same script? Or
no, if we've got enough distance between the venues, we'll repeat a script a few times a year.
Oh, right, okay.
I tend to work on a sort of a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
Because generally an audience that are going to Middlesbrough are not then going to go to Thornaby or go to Newcastle or Gisborough. So we'll do that same script in different places, as long as I can be assured that I'm giving the venue a fair crack.
Yeah.
Because if I do it at one venue and people are too close to go to another venue and see the same script, that's not fair to the venue.
Yeah, of course.
So obviously I have to put my client's needs first.
Yeah.
So we'll probably repeat a script maybe 4 or 5 times in a year.
All right, okay.
And then we'll put that script in the archive for a year.
Yeah.
And then bring it out again.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so in any one year we have probably between 8 and 10 plots available going out.
Yeah.
I think last year we performed 7 or 8 different stories, and this year we're on track to perform, I think, all 10 scripts this year.
Yeah, yeah.
So it makes me busy with my writing.
Yeah, absolutely. So is it the same venues that you pick every year, or you're always looking for new venues? I imagine some might work better than others. And
we're always looking for new venues. At the minute, we have quite a nice rebooking rate. All the venues that have had us have rebooked us at least once. A lot of the venues we go to will have a murder mystery and the Lipsticks and our male vocal group, which is the Jersey Dreamboats as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time the hotels will, and the restaurants, all manner of venues will have us.
Yeah.
And I think once people understand how we work, they see that actually this is really fun. It's a way of getting a lot of people into their venue, and you get a really great return on it, because if somebody goes to a restaurant or a hotel or a bistro and does a murder mystery and they love the food, you've got yourself a customer.
Yeah.
So they'll go back and back and back.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a few venues already in this area and a few more in Kent as well.
Yeah.
And now we're working on building up our client base.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of venues that might not necessarily think they can host a murder mystery because they don't have their own on-site kitchen or they don't have a separate function room. Yeah. And actually we can make a murder mystery work in any manner of venue.
Yeah.
We've done murder mysteries in people's houses.
All right.
We've done murder mysteries with canapes or buffets. It doesn't have to be around a 3-course meal.
Yeah.
We did an afternoon tea murder mystery last year.
All right.
And that was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
So everybody just sat around eating cake.
Yeah.
While we investigated a murder.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was really good
murder
fun.
And cake?
Murder and cake.
What a combination.
I don't think there is a better combination.
No, probably not.
Being entertained while you're stuffing your face with a scone and washing it down with a nice cup of tea.
Exactly.
So we've got lots of different packages that do suit all manner of venues. So we can work pretty much anywhere.
That's phenomenal. So with the other side of the business, obviously booking acts and things like that, how's that going? Do they complement each other really well, or?
They do. As I say, a lot of the venues we go to with the Murder Mysteries go on to book a performance with the Lipsticks, with the female trio, or they'll book a performance with the Jersey Dreamboats. We've had a couple of venues that have had all three.
All right.
A couple of times in the year. So that's really nice. The good thing is, we're not an agency. We don't operate as an agency. We're not a management company.
Yeah.
We are producers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our team of creatives who do produce everything. Mm-hmm. It's our team of writers. It's me that's directing along with two other people who direct with me. It's my choreographers. It's my musical directors. So we can assure our venues that everything we're doing is of the same standard.
Yeah.
So when you see Isabel Mumford Mysteries and you see the standard of the acting that we're putting out, you know that when you get the Lipsticks, the singing and dancing is going to be of the same standard because it's the same production team behind it. So that's where we like to focus. And then we've got a kids show as well that we're putting out this year. And that's a really like family friendly one. It's got a bit of a panto feel to it where there's lots of interaction and there's opportunities for the kids to get involved and the adults to get involved. But it's all based around a couple of jungle detectives called Peg and Greg.
All right.
Who travel around the world helping animals in need.
Yeah.
So it's educational as well for the kids.
Yeah.
So we've got that as well. We also have the bespoke production side, which is where people come to us with ideas and say, you know, we're having a wedding and it's a 1940s theme. And we go, yeah, not a problem. And me and the girls will all sit down and we'll put together a World War II set.
Yeah.
So that we can perform that. Or similarly, we got asked to do a World War I performance in Redcar last year, which was for a special event the Friends of Redcar put on to commemorate the end of World War I. So we put on some sailor dresses and we did Songs of the Great War outside Tuned In. It was so windy, we were holding our dresses down.
Sometimes the ideal venue, I suppose, on the front.
Well, no, not right on the seafront when it's windy in May. But we had a great time.
Yeah.
So it was all right.
So we've had a few people on the podcast who operate within the wedding space, guys like Andy Lamather, magicians and stuff like that. How do you find the wedding industry, the wedding space? People either seem to really love it or really hate it. It seems like a little kind of climate all of its own, really.
See, we love weddings.
Yeah.
We love weddings. I mean, with the Lipsticks, certainly, we very much enjoy being given cake and prosecco.
Yeah.
So we love a wedding.
Yeah.
I'm joking, of course. But we enjoy weddings. But then I think we are the sort of company that we understand weddings. I mean, I'm from a big family, so there's been a lot of weddings in our family.
Yeah.
So the first thing I will say to a bride is, we will take the stress off you.
Yeah.
We will phone the venue and speak to the venue about setting up. We will put the set list together. Everything will be taken care of. You don't need to worry about us. We'll talk to your DJ and organise what times we're all going to do. All you need to do is worry about the day.
Yeah.
So we will always work with the couples instead of...
Yeah.
You know,
not against them, but making it more work than it needs to be.
I think that's it. I think as long as you're going into a wedding with the understanding that you're not there to make more work for the people that are there.
Yeah.
Your whole job at a wedding, especially on the wedding day, and we do a lot of the afternoon sections.
Yeah.
When people are having their photos taken and there's canapes coming round and everybody's kind of sitting down and they're thinking about the fact that they want their dinner and stuff like that. We do a lot of that section where we'll get around the microphone and we'll sing a load of songs for an hour to keep people entertained.
Yeah, keep it moving, as it were.
Exactly that. So a big part of the service we offer with the Lipsticks and with the Jersey Dreamboats is it's about the customer interaction. As long as our couples know we're here to make your day better, not to make it more stressful.
So
weddings are stress.
Yeah, everybody gets stressful when it comes to them. So do you do wedding fairs and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, probably 5 or 6 a year.
How do you find them?
We love them.
Really?
Yeah.
People seem to, again, either love them or see them as a necessary evil. There's never
Yeah, I think because we're a team, we enjoy it.
Yeah.
So there's always a few of us there. So for us, it's us. We spend 4 hours together, and we're having some cake samples, and we go and get our photo taken in the photo booth.
Yeah.
And we walk around chatting to everybody, and we chat to all the couples, and we sing some songs. We have a really good time.
Yeah.
So for the three of us, whichever team I'm with, we're all friends. We get on.
Yeah.
So, we came together through the company, through the work, but we have become friends.
Yeah.
So for us, because we're all busy people, sometimes that 4 hours, that day at the wedding fair, it's the only time we're going to see each other for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we have a laugh and we have a really good time.
I suppose it's one of the good things that we have in that relationship, like the energy kind of like comes out from it.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than when you see people who are like there, if it's not their business or whatever, and they're just sat behind a desk and, just...
on their phone,
Yeah, just there for...
They've been roped in because their other half runs the business.
Yeah. Being told that they need to do it. So how have you found, setting up and doing business in Teesside? Like, what the venues like to do with? Do you use any, local suppliers? Obviously you're a little bit different from a management company. How's it gone, within the industry and stuff like that?
I find Teesside to be probably one of the more supportive places I've worked. So, and I have worked all over the country.
Yeah.
What I found is that when I came back to Redcar, one of the first things I did was I posted a message in the Redcar Business Network group on Facebook, and I immediately got a message from Karen King saying, "I'd really like you to come and be part of our group."
Yeah.
So I went along to their network group, and a year and a half later, I'm still there every month at 7:00 in the morning, wishing I was still in bed, and cursing Karen for making our meeting 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
But I love it because we get together and we're so supportive of each other. And, I'll put a post up on Facebook about the events we're doing, and everybody in my network will share it for me and promote us. And we'll put posters out and everyone will be sharing our poster.
Yeah.
And I do the same for other people. So even down to if I'm running a local event, I've got my mum's birthday coming up. I won't say what number it is. It's a big one. But I've got her birthday coming up. So obviously she's having the lipsticks and the Jersey Dream boats.
Yeah.
She didn't get a choice in that. But I've hired a local caterer.
Yeah.
Who are from Redcar. And, we're getting the decorations from the local shops. We've got a cake from a local independent supplier. Yeah. We didn't go to a big supermarket for it. Yeah. We went to somebody. So I always will do that because we've got to promote each other and help each other. Yeah. Basically, that's how it works. Yeah. I love working with venues in Teesside, though. Just because I think it's true what they say about us lot up north. I think we're friendly. Yeah. I just think we're lovely. I feel like, tea runs through the veins as much as humility does, to be honest. So I love it, and I've loved working all over the country. I've had some great experiences, but there is something about working in the northeast that it's rewarding. You say to somebody in the northeast, "This is what I do," and they go, "Wow, that's amazing! What's your Facebook page? I want to share it. What's your Twitter? I want to follow you." Yeah. And you find that I'll just get chatting to somebody at the gym about what I do, and they're instantly on side. Yeah. And they want to know about what you're doing and where they can find you and what events they can come to. Yeah. We did an event at Tuned In Redcar over Christmas, and probably over 70% of the audience we didn't know. Yeah. They just came to us because they'd seen us advertised, and they knew that it was local performers. They knew it was a local business running it. Yeah. So it was really great to see the amount of support we got. Yeah. There seems to be more and more in Teesside and things like that is everybody does want it's coming back to shopping local and stuff like that. And there are some obviously we wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't some phenomenal businesses exactly. And a lot of the businesses that you've had on here are doing some really great work. Yeah. And we'd be doing even more work if more people knew about us. That's why we do this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's to make sure that people know we're here.
Yeah.
So that, so rather than a venue phoning up a murder mystery company that's based in York or London or, miles away and paying them a fortune to come and stay, you can phone me if you want a murder mystery night. I'm local, I'm in Redcar. I've got actors all over the Northeast. We're here so that we can make the events more affordable for the venue so they get a better return.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the music shows we do as well, and the same with bespoke events. If I get a venue that come to me and say, you know what we were thinking is we'd like to do an Alice in Wonderland afternoon tea.
Yeah.
Great. Let me have a think about it. I'll put something together and I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So I had a venue ask me, do you do anything burlesque? I said we don't, but let me have a think about it. And I went away. I found a burlesque house to work with who are in the Northeast. And I was able to go back and say, right, I've put a night together for you.
Yeah, that's incredible, really, that you can be so flexible with the stuff that you're doing.
We can, because we've got creative people. We've got, over 40 creatives.
Yeah.
That everybody's freelance, everybody's doing this, that, and the other. Everyone's working all over the country, and everyone's doing other stuff. But it's great that we've got such accessibility to so many talented people that I can go and say, would you guys be able to let's get together in a room for a couple of hours?
Yeah.
I want to hash out some ideas with you.
Yeah, it's I suppose it's like 40 individual perspectives, isn't it? That they all might have something different on the same idea. So you've mentioned things like Facebook, Twitter, obviously networking groups. Are they like the predominant source of the marketing that you're doing? Obviously, I know word of mouth will be a big part of it, or is there any other types of marketing that you're really focused on?
I do a lot of face-to-face marketing, so I do a lot of going to venues and speaking to the event coordinators myself.
Yep.
So I just take my brochures with me. I carry these in the car.
Yeah.
I've always got about 30 of these in the car.
Yeah.
And a pair of spare heels, just in case. My emergency heels. That's what they call.
Yeah.
I have
a glass box break in case of emergency.
Yeah, break in case of potential client. That's it. So I keep my emergency heels in the car, and I always got my brochure. So if I'm driving along and I see a hotel or a restaurant or a bistro somewhere, and I think, oh, that would be great for an afternoon tea with the lipsticks, or they'd be great for a night with Jersey Dreamboats or a murder mystery, I'll just stop and go in.
Yeah.
I will just stop and go in and say, can I speak to the event coordinator? And half the time, if they're available, we will get to sit down and have a really long chat. Sometimes if they're busy, then I'll just hand the brochure over and they'll come back to me later. But that's I find has been my most effective marketing to date. Yeah. What's great now is our reputation is starting to grow. So when I turn up at venues, they've heard of us, or we've got enough of an online presence that they can look for us. We've developed enough of a following on Facebook with all the individual pages now. Yeah. That people can go on and see what we've done, what we're up to, and what our audience are saying about us. Yeah. So that's really nice. We've gotten a lot of work through people telling venues how good we are, which is great. I love that. My favourite phone call in the world is when I have somebody phone me and say, oh, one of my friends came to see one of your murder mysteries at such and such, and she told me you're really good, so I'd like to hire you for our venue. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that's the best kind of like testimonial marketing ever, isn't it, really?
That's great. We live for that. Yeah. And we've been very lucky that that's happened a lot to us, and as I say, we get a lot of repeat bookings. Yeah. A lot of our venues, they sell out quite quickly. I've just posted on Facebook this morning that our next event at the Tree Bridge has sold out.
And do you help venues with selling tickets and stuff? Like, does it go through you guys, or do they handle it? Or
it always goes through them. We don't have the facilities to take the bookings, if you like. But we provide the posters. Yeah. So we'll do the posters for them that's got our branding on it, and we'll put a nice poster together for them. We make the events for them on Facebook. Yeah. We also we take a lot of responsibility of social media marketing. So we'll make sure that we're pushing it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram on a daily basis for them.
Yep.
Because the way I see it is, if their venue sells out, that makes us look good, that makes the venue happy. So it's in my best interest to work with them.
Yeah.
And I have had venues who've said, oh, we tried it in the past and it didn't sell. And I'll say, did the company you hired, did they help you with it?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, I'm like, well, I will.
Yeah.
I will help you with it. I'll sit on the internet and I'll make sure it's listed in every What's On guide from here to Timbuktu.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that happens. I'll make sure that I get on the radio and talk about what's happening. I'll do that. I'll make sure it's listed everywhere. I'll make sure it's in people's faces.
Yep.
And the proof is been in the pudding so far, because like I say, 80% of our venues over the last year and a half have sold out.
Which is, incredible statistic, really.
It's really good. And what's great is the amount of people we've had return to venues time and time again. We do a lot of venues at Broccoli. We do a lot of murders at Broccoli Hall in Saltburn.
Yeah.
We'll probably do 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah.
Did 3 last year, 4 this year. And we've got people who say to me, oh, I came to the one at Halloween, so I've booked on for Christmas.
Yeah.
Or they came in March because they said, well, we came to all the events last year and we're going to come to all of them this year.
Yeah.
Because they like what we do.
Yeah.
So they want to come back to our events.
Yeah.
And that's great. We love that. And we have the same with the lipsticks. We've
Yeah.
got a lot of people who will just follow the lipsticks around. It was lovely when we did Tuned In. The week after, we did the Primrose Bell Market in Redcar, which is the independent market that we have on Cleveland Street. And I had a few people come over to me at the end of the performance and say, we came last week to Tuned In, and then we saw that you were doing this, so we wanted to come and see you again.
Yeah.
And that's great. We're doing all the same songs, but they still want to see us.
Yeah. Well, it's the performance that they come for as well. Like, if it
Yeah.
was just the songs, they could listen to them on
the-
Spotify or the radio. It's the performance side of it that
Yeah,
they like.
so we've got a lot of people who will come to every performance and tell us, oh, I came to such and such and I've come to see you again today. So that's really nice. It's a great return for me as the head of the company. And being that I am the one that puts the shows together and I am the one that directs the shows. So ultimately, it's me that's responsible. So when I get an audience member come to me and say, I saw you at a venue last week and I thought you were so good that I wanted to come and see you again this week, that's the best kind of feedback I can get.
Yeah, very rewarding, I imagine.
So it's so rewarding. And we're very lucky with our job because we get instant gratification.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when you do a proper job, as it were, a normal job, a 9 to 5, you might work on a project for 3 months, and then it's over, and you'll get some feedback on it 6 months after that.
Yeah.
Whereas we work our backsides off to get a show ready, but then we go out on stage and we get the applause, we get the audience response, we get people coming up to us afterwards and telling us it was great and they enjoyed it. And that is the best kind of reward we get.
Oh, yeah, I imagine, especially for the actors and things like that who literally put blood, sweat and tears into it and know that people are enjoying it is the whole reason that they're getting into it and doing it.
That's it. If we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think you can do this job if you don't love it.
No, I would imagine so. I imagine going around tables and being quizzed on your character if you didn't love that kind of thing would just be...
Oh, it would be hell.
Yeah.
It would be absolute hell. If you go up on stage and the last place you want to be is on stage, it's going to come through.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not going to enjoy yourself. And if you're not enjoying yourself, the audience aren't enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we get told a lot whenever we're performing, whatever the production is, we get audience that say to us afterwards, you really look like you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we do.
Yeah.
And if we didn't love what we were doing, you wouldn't be enjoying it.
Yeah.
So the best thing about what we have with all of the teams is how much we love doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we enjoy it. We get together and we do it. And similarly, if there's a song that I've put into one of the shows that the guys are not feeling, or they're a bit like, oh, the audience don't really respond to it, we don't enjoy it, I'll just go, great, let's get rid of it.
Yeah. Well,
Put something else in.
I suppose that's the good thing about working with those people and you getting that instant feedback, because then you can tweak everything as you go, and it's not
set
in stone for, well, we're going to do 5 events with this and do it this way. Like, you can...
No, if something needs to change, I'll change it.
Yeah.
And I'll always kind of ask the team for their opinion. So if I put a set list together, I'll always go, right, so it's going to be lipstick on your collar and then Bobby's Girl and then Needle in a Haystack. How does that sound? Does that sound all right? And then they'll tell me, like, they'll tell me straight. Everybody on my team will tell me straight. We did a gig at Pontins a few weeks ago, and when we were driving down, one of the lipsticks said to me, when we did the last Pontins gig, they really liked the jive songs better than anything else. So can we put more jive into the set tonight? And I went, yeah.
Yeah.
So the three of us sat around in our chalet, and we put the playlist together. We just went, what's all of our songs that we all want to do? And we put them all in. Yeah. So it is quite nice because ultimately I do have the final say.
Yeah.
And everybody's quite accepting of that. That ultimately it's me that has to take responsibility for it. So I am going to make the final decision. But I do enjoy collaborating with them. Like I said at the top about, my actor who came in with a different accent than I had envisioned. Yeah. And it knocked me off my chair. And then I thought, no, I love it.
Yeah. Well, you just want to have the best product possible.
I want the best product possible.
So do they, I imagine, like they want to, have a good performance, etc. So everybody's working towards the same goal.
Well, exactly. And we're all working towards the thing of, the better we are, the more we're going to work. And that's ultimately what we all want to do. And we're all working towards the same thing with Charm Productions, which is we want to be like a rep company.
Yeah.
And we were a bit like that already. The boys that work in the Jersey Dreamboats also act in the Murder Mysteries. I've got girls that work in the Murder Mysteries and in the Lipsticks, and I've taken boys and girls from the Lipsticks and the Jersey Dreamboats and put them into Peg and Greg.
Yeah.
So I just move people around.
Yeah.
It's less of a you're coming into the company to be a Jersey Dreamboat and more of a you're coming into the company.
Yeah.
And whatever work I've got, as long as you learn the show, it's yours.
Yeah.
So then I've got a bigger stable of people to, when I get a gig, I can send a message out to all of them and say, right, here are the events we've got coming up, who's available.
Yeah. And
it's sort of, then it doesn't matter how you came into the company.
Yeah.
I have one girl that works for me that I stole from a college show. I went to see a show at Middlesbrough College because a friend of mine was in it. And it was Carrie the musical.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a girl, Rebecca, who was playing the mother. And every time she opened her mouth to sing, my jaw hit the floor.
Yeah.
She was so good. And I was with a friend of mine, Suzanne, and she turned around and she said to me, you should ask her about being a lipstick.
Yeah.
So after the show, I asked my friend to introduce me to her, and I said, I think you're great. I'd really like you to come and audition for me.
Yeah.
And then she did, successfully, and became a lipstick. And then in March, she did her first murder mystery with Isabel Mumford Mysteries.
Oh, brilliant.
Because I phoned her up and I said, you know what, I've got a part and I think you'd be great for it.
Yeah.
So she came and did that.
Yeah. Well, it's good that they get so many, you don't get pigeonholed or pegged into one thing. I can imagine it could get stale for people, so the fact that they can do so much is very rewarding for them, I imagine.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of weekends coming up where, for some of the guys, they're doing a murder mystery on the Friday and a gig on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So, they're still working and there's lots of variety for them. I'm always a little bit aware that it's a lot for them to learn.
Yeah.
But with a lot of the stuff we do, once you know it, you know it.
Yeah. And
then you just need to brush up. And we give them all the material to go away with. So we give them recordings of the harmonies. We give them videos of the choreography and all the lyrics. And then we just come into the rehearsal room and we polish it up.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier for people. They don't have to give up, a night every week to come in and rehearse the way a lot of groups and bands do. They don't have to do that. You've got the material. All you have to do is learn it. And then I'll get you all into a rehearsal room for a couple of hours and we're going to bash it out. We're going to polish it up. So they come into the rehearsal room already knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And all we've got to do is tighten it up and teach what we need to.
Yeah.
And then sometimes if there's a new song I want to put in and I'm struggling to set the harmonies on my own, then I'll wait till I'm in the rehearsal room and I'll go, okay, I need you to work with me on this. We did that with a number just the other day. I had 2 guys in rehearsal, and one of them's brand new to the Jersey Dreamboat, so I was teaching him all of his harmonies, and then one of my OG members was there to help out as well.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm really struggling with doing an arrangement on this particular song. So just all 3 of us sat around the speaker, and I went, okay, you try that, and then can you sing this line, and then I'll sing this line, and then we'll do a crescendo thing. And that was how I worked it out. Yeah. So I was able to go away after that and record it. So it's really nice for me that I've got not just talented people, but I've got hardworking people.
Yeah.
And I've got people who are quite happy to do that. Mm. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you've mentioned Peg and Greg.
Yeah.
Just one of the things. What else are you hoping to do with Charm Productions? Are there any different kind of events that you're looking to move into, or different venues, or different styles of anything?
Well, we're always looking for more venues to perform in. Mm-hmm. So hint, hint, any venues that are out there. Well, if you've got an idea in mind, give me a shout and we'll talk, because we've got stuff that will bring people into venues. And going forward, we will really want to get Peg and Greg launched. Peg and Greg was the first script I ever wrote.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the script is 7 years old.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that it's been such a labour of love for me that it's been pushed back and back and back and back, because then I did the lipsticks, and the lipsticks took over. And then we did the Jersey Dreamboats, and that took up a lot of my time. And Isabel Mumford Mysteries took off massively. Yeah. We did 16 events in our first year. Yeah. So that took up a lot of my time, and now it's like, no, I have to do Peg and Greg. I have to, because it's got so much of my heart and soul in it that I just want the world to see it. Yeah. So we do want to do that, but we do enjoy doing the bespoke events. We do enjoy that, and we love doing immersive stuff. Yeah. We really get a kick out of that. So we love an Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Yeah. We love that. And the storytelling days and things like that, we're always up to do a lot more of that work.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and the thing we did at Christmas, that we're now combining the Lipsticks and the Jersey Dreamboats to do more and more performances together. And that's great, because it works as a 7-piece, and you've got female stuff, you've got the male stuff, and then they all come together, and we just have a great big party on stage. Yeah.
There's something for everybody in it.
There really is. And I think the great thing about everything we do is very vintage, and vintage is in vogue. Yeah. It's come back in a big way, but I love vintage. Yeah. So anything pre-1980, I'm there. Yeah. Although we're starting a 90s group this year.
All right.
Because we came to the realization that the 90s was 30 years ago. Yep. And when I think of 30 years ago, I still think of 1970.
I know.
It's not.
I know. It's frightening, isn't it?
It's making me feel old.
I know.
I'm not okay with it. So we're putting together a 90s act now, because 90s is vintage.
Yeah, it is. We always joke in the office, obviously we've got some younger members of staff, and songs will come on and people are like, I have no idea what this song is like, and it's like, the realisation sets in that
this is a classic.
Yeah.
You have no idea what it is.
I know. That's
really sad.
Yeah. So for everybody who comes on the podcast, we ask them 3 questions.
Okay.
So if you've watched any of the ones, you might know what they are. If not, I'll tell you them in order for anybody who doesn't know. So the first one is, what does success look like to you? For every person, it's different. We've had a mirage of different answers, from when I've got this in the bank, when I've provided for my family, I just want to keep going, more time, whatever it is, there's no set answer, and we'd like to see that it is different for everybody. The second one is, have you ever had a failure, or at the time you perceived as a failure, that's led you going on the right path or led to a success, etc.? And the third one is one thing that you are obsessed by at the moment. We've had TV shows, gadgets. Ben Houchin was Alexas and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah. So anything and everything. We've had a bit of a mix.
A bit of a mix.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we'll start with the first one.
So what does success look like to me? I suppose in terms of when I'll be happy with where the company is, I'll consider that I've reached the pinnacle of success when I can give work to people full time.
Yep.
That's sort of what I want. What I'd really like is to have a team of entertainers and performers who work for me 8 months of the year.
Yep.
And just travel around doing stuff. I'd love that. But I suppose for me personally, it'll be when I can go on holiday without my work phone.
Yeah.
I think that's when I'll think it's success. When I've got an office full of people that I can go, right, guys,
Yeah.
I'm off to Marbella for a week. So don't kill my company while I'm gone.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, I went to Africa for 2 weeks and I kept my phone switched on.
Yeah.
And I was answering phone calls at Johannesburg Airport.
Yeah.
So,
which seems to be the popular theme with every business owner that we've had on.
I think it's every business owner's dream.
Yeah.
Is to be able to go away without and know that everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's to be able to close the door and know that the grass is going to be fed without you being there.
Yeah.
So I do think that's a dream. But yeah, the first step for me is I want us to be a proper rep company.
Yeah.
Where, you know,
I'm the full team.
Yeah, I want to be able to give a living wage to every performer that works for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a way off. Yeah. I'm working towards
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah.
My biggest failure, I don't know if I've got a biggest one. I've got a few.
Yeah.
I mean, I make schoolboy errors all the time.
I think we all do, really. It's just if you've had any that at the time seemed like the end of the world, but has actually led to you doing something else.
The worst, I suppose the worst thing for me was no, I can't think of a worst one. I've made so many mistakes with things like, you know, I didn't put a contract in place that was robust enough.
Yeah.
Or I didn't trademark something and somebody copied me.
Yeah.
Or I didn't put a deadline on something and then I got a list of requirements with 2 days to go that I all of a sudden had to fill.
Yeah.
So I've had plenty of those. I had I suppose it's not a failure, but our business card got cloned.
Oh, right.
And I wasn't able to pay any invoices for a week. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
think it's just like small, like not learning experience, but the things that everybody goes through learning by doing, isn't it?
Oh,
really?
Every day's a school day.
Yeah, no doubt.
Every day's a school day. So I think so far I haven't made any huge missteps, which makes me a bit nervous. Maybe it's still to come.
Maybe you might just, instead of making like big ones, you might just make lots of little ones.
I might just continually make lots of really little mistakes. And I've certainly made plenty of those. And I'm only human at the end of the day, and I'll probably continue to make plenty.
Everybody does. We haven't had any business owner on yet that says that they've never made a mistake or it's never, gone. Some have had absolutely catastrophic ones, so...
I think you learn from every mistake, though.
Oh yeah.
And I think I've certainly done that thing where you look at the bank account and you go, okay, I'm not quite sure how I'm keeping the doors open this month, but something's gonna have to give. I'm gonna have to ask for some help here or something. And we've had that, but we've bounced back. Yeah. And I'm very lucky in that I've got a lot of support, not just professionally but personally. Mm-hmm. So I've got a lot of people who are, they're in my corner. Yeah. So, and they're there to tell me when I've made a mistake. Yeah. As well, which is good.
Those people are vital.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does. And what am I obsessed with at the minute? Well, at the minute, I'm obsessed with Endgame.
That is probably the best answer we've ever had on the podcast.
I'm a proper Marvel fanatic.
We had a stage type thing in the office where some people, Mike in the office went to the 12 o'clock showing. Right. I went the day after. Rick, who produced the podcast, went about a week later, I think. So we kind of had, we couldn't talk about certain things
until everyone had seen it.
Yeah, yeah. And then we've got kind of Hannah, who's in the office, who has no interest in Marvel at all. So we're all speaking in this foreign language type thing, and then she's kind of getting it. But yeah, that's been a massive part for everything. Before we did this podcast, we were just talking about that they've announced the next 8 movies over 5 years, so we were just like talking about that and stuff.
I watched a trailer this morning for one of them.
Yeah. So
like I started my day with it.
Yeah.
So no, I am properly obsessed with Marvel. But I went and saw Endgame. It was 2 days technically.
Yeah.
So it came out at midnight,
Yeah.
and on the Wednesday, and I saw it on the Friday morning.
Yeah.
But I was meant to see it on the Thursday afternoon, and
Yeah.
I got there and it was sold out, and it
Yeah.
hadn't occurred to me that it would be sold out.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't I think of this? But you never think it's going to sell out during the day on
In
a
a
weekday.
random hour, yeah.
Yeah. So it was fine because I ended up just working for that afternoon and then taking the morning off the next day instead.
Yeah.
Which is the beauty of having my own business, I suppose, is, I was able to say, okay, well, so I'll work this afternoon, I'll get all my work done for tomorrow, and then tomorrow morning I can have the day off instead. So I did that. But we had quite a firm rule because I've got a lot of Marvel fanatics in the company, and there was a firm, if you say anything before you've asked the question, there is going to be hell to pay. Yeah. But it was great because, I mean, when I came out of the cinema, two of the first people that I sent messages to talk about the film was one of the guys who works with me on the musical arrangements, and one of the guys that works for me as a performer. Yeah. Because we're all quite into Marvel. Yeah. So that was quite nice. We stood around after rehearsal the other day talking about Endgame for an hour. Yeah. It's a constant theme that runs through the office. We always have to check for spoilers for that, and then Game of Thrones spoilers are always checked as well. I think that people fit one of two categories, though. Yeah. I often find you Marvel or Game of Thrones, and I'm Marvel, not Game of Thrones.
I don't know. I think we're all in the office. I think we're both, really.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that's more rare.
Yeah. Maybe we're just an office full of weirdos. Probably more likely. So, if anybody's listening and they want to chat to you about the Murder Mystery Nights or having a bespoke performance or the lipsticks, etc., where's the best place for them to get in contact with you?
So you can go to our website, which has got the whole kit and caboodle of information. That's www.charmproductions.co.uk. Yep. And from there you can go to all the individual websites for the lipsticks, the Jersey Dreamboats and Isabel Mumford Mysteries. There's also information on there about what we offer. You can find us on Facebook as Charm Productions UK. You can follow us on Twitter at CharmEntsUK. Yep. And on Instagram, we're Charm Productions UK as well. Okay. And feel free to drop us an email, which is info@charmproductions.co.uk with anything you want to know whatsoever. Yep, and those will all be linked in the description as well, guys, if you want just a quick way to get it. Fantastic. So thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. No, I'm happy to. This was great. Thank you for having me. No, it's been a pleasure to learn about it. Brilliant. So this has been episode 32 of the Teesside Business Podcast. The Teesside Business Podcast is promoted and produced by Person to Person Marketing. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.